You're kicking it with the Christians. You're kicking it with the Christians. One marriage, two hustlers, it shows. We'll travel the globe in search of endless possibility. You're kicking it with the Christians. Together we'll conquer it all. Take the highs with the lows, cause there's no losing with this energy. You're kicking it with the Christians.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode.
It's been a month since we've been on YouTube, but we're here to talk about it.
One marriage, two hustlers.
The
podcast.
Come on.
And I think that explains exactly what we've been doing. We've been working. But yeah, I don't know what happened. We haven't taken a break from our other podcast though, from our individual podcast. But for some reason, the married people just can't come together, huh, baby?
Just can't come together.
It's the one marriage, two hustlers for me.
Keep that same energy. Keep going. Keep talking.
Yeah, so it's the one marriage, two hustlers for me. So what we realize is that, we have to keep at the core what and where we started. What we started with and where we started with. And so with that being said, we're like, okay, we got to get content out by any means necessary. And y'all know we love being on episodes by ourselves because we can really talk to you guys, and you guys can continue to get to know us better. And so currently we've been working together like a lot on different projects, which we've always done. But I think we're in a space now to where we're in that growing phase.
Yes.
And, with growth comes growing pains. And so the power...
Say that again. With the growth becomes growing pains.
Yeah, with growth comes growing pains. And so that can cause you to lose track of a lot of things. Hence not recording for a month, right?
Hence.
Right. So we just gonna pinch our own selves. But the most important part to me is that we continue to push through, even when we slack, even when, we don't keep up with the schedule that we have. Or
you keep pushing, man.
You just keep pushing. You don't just sit there and be like, oh, man, we ain't recording the money, man. Oh, no, man. You just got to keep going, pick up the pieces and keep moving. And so that's with anything in life.
And I think that comes with mindset. It's just understanding that you're going to go through different seasons of your life.
Yep.
And the different seasons that you go through, you got to understand that every season going to look different, going to feel different.
Yes.
And the experience is going to be different. So
definitely is. I think this topic keeps surfacing back around, and I think it's good. I think this topic should be in every season because like we just talked about, like it changes, like things change and you learn so much, you evolve so much, your level of maturity changes. Like you guys can go back to when we started season 1 probably.
Come on, talk about it.
And just see the growth, right?
Yes.
And see how we evolve because we look at videos and we're like, wow.
Like, what were we doing with the lights?
Even what you said, the mindset, what you just said, like the mindset is different because you've learned and it's like you're learning each other.
So are you learning more on your own individual podcast? Or are you learning more when you're on a podcast with me? That's just a good question.
I think the vibes are different on each platform, right?
Okay.
Like I think on mine it's good because I get to have conversations with other women. It kind of brings that equality among women on there, women that are doing like amazing things that I can connect with because I'm doing things as well. And so I think it's just different. It brings a different vibe. I think with me and you, and when we have other couples on, it's kind of like, man, we're focusing on relationships, we're focusing on marriage and, how we can really grow and evolve and just giving our real life experiences to the people.
You know what? And y'all don't see what I see around. And I'm so happy that we're moving because I'm looking at a lot of junk that's not going to be...
Y'all can't see it
yeah.
because we have the set up. But like we've outgrown the space, right?
It's crazy,
that we just moved to last year. And so we're going to be moving to a bigger space. And then after that, we're only going up, right? We're going to do bigger and better things. And it's just crazy how fast life moves, how fast life moves, first of all. And then how quickly things can change. And I say all that to say, like, don't ever be afraid of change. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel crowded. It's going to feel overwhelming sometimes.
It's crazy.
It's going to feel like you're like a little dot in the middle of all this shit, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to all come together. Right? What happens with a plant? It starts off as a seed.
Come on.
Then you put the soil, and then you water in it, and then you put in fertilizer.
Come on.
Right? And you're putting it out in the sun, and you're doing all these things in order to see what?
Different, in order to see it grow. But different level. And I think so also, like, as we've been doing podcasts going on, it's going to be going on 6 years in a minute, but as we've been doing podcasts, and we have learned so many different facets of, you know, how we're going to record, how we're going to do this, and what kind of people we want on our team. You know what I'm saying? We don't just want anybody on our team.
Right.
You know, and just having the correct mindset. And then actually building a business and a brand together that can be able to sustain the next 10 to 20 years. Because I think people build businesses and they're only looking at the now. I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at the digital blueprint that we can allow and that we can give to people to help people with their brand or their information. So
right, and people always ask us, what do you guys do? Do you just do podcasting? And you know, that means that we need to get better at our marketing, right? Because people don't know everything we do. But when we do get on our
I don't think we need to get better at the marketing. I just think that we have so much going on and that people, it doesn't matter if you get better at your marketing or not, because people are only going to see what they see.
Yeah, and we're great at a lot of things. And I think the issue, too, is like when people feel like they've known you since you were a yay high, right?
Yes.
They don't really see the involvement, right? Until you step in. They still see you as that little person.
Oh, yeah.
They don't see you as who you've grown to be. And so I think that's another issue too. Is like, you think you know me, or you think you know something about me because you've known me so long, but the part that you missed was when we weren't talking, when you didn't see me, when I was going through what I was going through, when I was experiencing each step of my process. You didn't see that, so you don't see the growth, and you don't see the evolvement the way I've evolved and come to be this person. And it's like, once I start talking, or I get into a situation where now I have to use the skills that I learned along the way.
Talk about it.
You're kind of like, who is that? And it's like, when I tell you we've evolved and like we've stepped into everything that God has called us to be and is currently calling us to do, it's crazy, because you'll get into a room with us, and when we start talking, or we get on the platform and we start talking, you're amazed, you're inspired, you're like, wow, because there's a process that had to happen.
Talk about that process, though.
Yes.
Because that process is, to me, and this is, I like to use this analogy. I love this analogy, is you have two types of cooks. You have the cook that wants to go to the store, okay? And they want to, you got three types of people that eat food. But they all are different kind of cooks. One don't cook though, but two of them cook. You got the person that's like, man, look, I just wanna on my way home, I just want to order something and I want to eat it.
Right.
All right. So they want that quick value. You got the other person saying, I want to be a little bit cheaper, so I want to go and get that piece of pocky, get that piece I can just put it in the microwave, and then 4 minutes is done.
Right.
And then you got the person like, man, we want to cook gumbo. We want to cook gumbo. So now you got that person have to go buy the ingredients.
If you know anything about gumbo,
you got to put it in the pot. You got to let it marinate. You got to let it do all these things. Yeah. And I think if you want success, you have to find a recipe for yourself. You have to find a recipe for your brand, a recipe for your information, so that your message you can get out to the world. So as we working together, we're working on different businesses, but we working on business together too. Because there's some things I was like, hey, babe, look at this. Hey, fix that. I need to close a client. So I'm going to text you what I think I should say. Can you just fix it and make it sound better? And it's about working together and finding your part.
Yes.
Your part in the relationship, your part in the business that can help you help the relationship grow. So,
all right. So we got to address the number one question that we get 24/7, whether it's on my platform or his platform. When we open the floor for questions, people always ask us, how do you work with your spouse? How do you work with your spouse? Whether we're out and about.
Every day.
How do you work with your spouse?
Every
I don't
day.
know how you do it. I can't do it. So the thing about it is, it's easier for us to work together than for me to work with someone else. You know why? Because we understand each other.
Yes.
We're gonna argue. We're gonna disagree, right, on some things because we're at the end of the day we're different people. And because I'm more comfortable with him, I'm not gonna bite my tongue, right? I'm not gonna hold back how I feel because I'm comfortable with him and I know this is my safe space.
Preach.
But if I was at a job where my boss is there and they talking crazy, I'm just like, oh, don't say nothing because you're going to get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get in trouble, you're going to get written up, you're going to get fired. Let me not say nothing. Let me woosah. So I think it's good and bad in a sense when you're working together. But I think it's more good than bad because we understand each other. We get each other. I'm able to have that safe space. We're able to apologize and come back.
Come on.
I don't have to worry about getting fired, right? I tried to get fired, y'all. I tried. But
You
no,
cannot
I'm
get
being
fired.
honest, though. It's like you don't really have to worry about that when you're working with your partner because you know at the end of the day, whatever you're doing in business is either benefiting your household or is hurting your household.
Woo, preach.
And so that makes it even more great because it's about the both of you and you both care about it because it impacts both of you guys' well-being.
That's facts.
When you're at a job, you don't care so much because it's like, I don't care about this job. I can go get another job because you're not the person who built it from the ground. You're not the person who cultivated it, who invested in it. So you don't care about it as much. But as with OM2H Creative Studios and One Marriage, Two Hustlers LLC, it's both of our names on that, right? We both care about it equally. And so therefore, if he don't close a deal, we don't close a deal.
Man,
right?
Man, it's tough.
So it kind of works both ways. And so I think when you look at it like, man, we're a team. Man, we both carry our weight. Man, this is going to affect the both of us. It makes it easier. And then don't add love in that thing. Because it's like the level of the magnitude that you will go for your people that you love.
Preach.
Like we go hard for the people that we love.
Preach.
And some people will say, I mean, I'll give my life for my kids. I'll give my life for my husband. I'll give my life for my wife. Like that's how far we're willing to go to make sure that what we're doing together makes it and that it survives.
Yeah, so I think so many people, and the crazy part is like, how can you work with somebody every day and then go home with them too?
Yeah.
And I'm like, when that's your best friend, that's the person that you're communicating with. That's the person that you're really building something with. You're really dialed in. You really understand, like, this is my forever person. And so, like, if I fall, they fall. They fall, I fall. If one person income lacking, I got to pick it up over here. If another person spirit lacking, I got to pick it up here. Another person not having a good mood, they don't want to, you know. So it's all a balance to me. It's really trying to.
Yeah. No,
So it's really trying to just balance like each other. Balance like what is it that I need to do with them. They had a question that was asked. The question was, do you should you love your spouse? Should your self-love be more on your spouse or more on yourself? And so I said, oh, that's a good one. Should your self-love be more on yourself or more on your spouse? And I said, ooh, that's a good one. Only because people don't understand the difference. We preaching mental health and we preaching self-love, but are we preaching self-worth? Think about that. Mm-hmm. So if the person I'm with, how much are they worth to me? So why is it if the person saying, hey, I need a massage, I need to get my hair done, my nails done, I need to go get a haircut as a man, like, are you saying, okay, where's our level of income and how can we come together so I can get you the things to make your life better? Or is it all about, I need the same thing too? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I was going to say, like, number 2 of the power of working together is having each other's back. And so that means that we're selfless.
Okay,
right?
okay,
like,
okay.
I will give up something so you can have something, and vice versa.
I like that.
And it's like when we become selfless, it's easier to love ourselves. It's easier to love our spouses because it's not all about you, right?
That's good.
Like, it's okay to make things about you. Like, take a day and make something about you. Like, I just need me time. I need to sit quietly. I need to go for a walk. I'm gonna go work out on my own or whatever.
Come on.
Just to have that me time. I think that's totally fine. Like, that's part of loving yourself too. And it's not necessarily like you're neglecting your spouse. You're making sure that they're good. And then I'm going to go and do what I need to do for me. So I think, again, what you said is going back to that balance and just being selfless.
Yes.
And then with that comes all the other things. It makes the other things come easier.
And you know what? I really, for men, because it's, I always talking to different men. Even I had a young man on my podcast just the other day. He's 28. And he asked, he's like, man, I have a girlfriend, but he said, man, how are you and your wife working together? And what was amazing was when he said, is there any way I can film so I can show my girlfriend, because you guys are inspiration to something that I see that I want to create.
And here. And so that's confirmation for us that what we're doing, we need to keep doing, because sometimes we want instant gratification and it doesn't work like that. And we've been on this journey for a long time now, and we may not see everything that we want to see right now, but I know that it's coming, right? And it's a journey. But when you get people, when you're in your mind and you're like, whew, man, the pressure on. Come on. And then you get people that you don't know that comes in, or you meet and you encounter, and they're like, hey, I've been watching you, or hey, I looked you up, or hey, man, this is amazing what you're doing. You know that you have to keep doing it because it's confirmation of your vision. And so when we can inspire young people like that, or other people, that's all it's about. It's worth getting in front of the camera when you don't feel like it. It's worth getting in front of the camera and just doing what you do. It's worth every stress, every night we're up and planning and doing this and doing that. It's worth it, because at the end of the day, eventually you'll see the glory when God wants you to see it, when God feels like you're ready for it. But along the way, he'll put like little people and little things in your life and signs so you can see his wonder and his glory. And I just
what's crazy though, we always talk about like getting your digital blueprint in the earth. And what's crazy is we have a brick and mortar and we have a digital blueprint. And so when you show both facets of it, and my wife hates when I say this, but I'm about to say it. So many times you think you're meeting goats, but you're really meeting donkeys. And so the reason why I say that so much is because people that you thinking that, oh man, these people say they got a team, they got this, they got that. And when they come to our studio and meet us, they're like, wow, we want to work with you guys. And just to know that when you and your spouse, you and your person that you're with, when y'all build something together, there's going to be other people that see you, other people that want to say, oh wow, how did you do this? Oh, how are you staying consistent? They want to see. And if you can show them how you doing it, why you doing it, people want to be connected to greatness. The problem is we see so many, like right now online, oh, such and such married 27 years divorce. This person married 2 years divorce. Like we see all the things, and then the single people coming, that's why I ain't getting married. I'm like, bro, but it's a group of us that's happily, I just had a client I got off the phone with right now. He's happily married. He's not like, out here goofing around, being a goofball, trying to have multiple women. He's happily married, and he gonna die for his. Period. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is.
Crazy.
That's what it is.
Like it is, and working together can be. People would think like it's stressful, or sometimes people go to work and they feel like I'm getting a break from my spouse. You know, like I need a break. I can't work with them. They get on my nerves.
That's
you know, that type of
That's
stuff.
good.
But I also feel like it forces you to communicate better. Because it's like, man, even when you don't want to talk, you have to talk because the work has to get done when you're running a business together. And so I think it like really, really forces you to have genuine conversations. Like most days we ride together, we go home together, we're here together, we eat lunch together. Like that. For some people, that's too much togetherness for them.
Damn.
But for us, it works. It works, but I think it only strengthens the relationship.
Well, man, it's a tough one though. It's really tough to really lock in on the things that you desire to do. And as a couple, I try to listen. If I don't tell you guys anything else, for the men out there, is lock into your dreams and your woman's dreams, and push her and push y'all to get the results you're looking for. The problem is too many times we're not getting the results we're looking for because we're getting distracted by so many other things. And so when you lock into your goal, you lock into your vision, you see where you're going. Listen, I can't think in chaos. All right? So I can't create in chaos. So there has to be some kind of peace of mind for me to say, okay, let me focus this week. I know I got a big task next week with something that we're working on to get three people to help our business. So it's a big task. So what I'm doing is looking at how can I make X amount of calls and this, how much would it cost me? And then I need to, if I'm gonna pay this money right here, I need to make sure that I close X amount so I can make that money right back. Like I'm figuring out like the little things that can make the relationship flow easier. I'm like, I got 2 weeks before we move. I got to make a move in either the next 7 days or the next 13 days. It got to be done within the next 14 days. It got to be done. So I got to say, okay, boom. Okay, so I had to know the different facets of the business. I'm sharing with my wife. We had somebody paint the building. I'm like, let's go look at it. So it's a lot, but I'm telling you guys can do it when you get locked into it.
Yeah. And having those open dialogues, that is the key thing for me, is just keeping the conversation open. Another thing is like keeping a boundary between work and home. It is difficult because it does carry over. But you have to have those times where you're like, okay, we're out. You know, we're doing this. We're going to relax today. We're going to go for a walk. We're going to do this.
I think
to kind of clear your mind.
I think Friday night was one of the first nights.
And change your environment. But
Friday nights was one of the first nights I ain't opened my computer up in a long time. I was like, nah, we're going to cook this gumbo and then we're going to watch a movie. I mean, I did enough work for today. You know, because the thing about business, you feel like you ain't never done. It really, you don't be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
Well, I was watching Pastor T.D. Jackson. He said something. He's like, you don't really have a business if you got to be working. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to get it there, though. You got to get it there.
And so that was the thing. I'm like, man, we're working to get to that point. So right now we're in the hustle phase.
Yeah, you're in the hustle
phase.
And
so eventually you want to get to a point where you're hands off.
Well, we can get somebody the key.
You may come by and facilitate, but your hands off of that thing. Like, that's the whole goal of being in a business. That's when you truly have a business.
Facts.
And so that's the part where we're at right now. We're going through the process, like I talked about, where we're just working, because we know what we want to see. And so I think the importance is that we both want to see it. And so because we both have a common goal, it's easier to be like, let's put in this work. Like, to be honest with you, I told my husband, I'm like, man, we can start moving some of this stuff ourselves. He like, what? And I'm like, babe, it's not that bad. Like, we always try to think of ways to just make shit go smooth.
And it's really not that bad, because the only bad part is, and I didn't even share this with you yet, is I looked online at Home Depot and Lowe's for the dolly,
The one I was telling you about?
and it's $139.
That's the one I was telling you about.
Yeah,
I was like,
so-
man, we could just roll some stuff over
That's
there
what
and
I'm
get
saying.
a rope tied.
Yesterday-
And he over here like, what? I'm like, no, for real, babe. Look, think about it. It's not that bad.
Yesterday, I'm not even gonna lie. Yesterday, I literally went over there like 6 times. I'm like, if I could have just brought one couch every time.
Right.
One couch
or you
every
could have had the
time.
dolly. You could have bought one load. One load. 3 boxes, 4 boxes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not gonna be that much stuff to get.
That's
I'm
what
telling you.
saying. So, I
So
mean,
like,
that might be
but that's
something
how
we
you
do.
have to think about your goals.
That's good.
You know
That's
what I'm
good.
saying? Like, damn, like I had to tell myself that because I'm really mad at myself because over the past year, there's been things that I've tried or that I've done and I said, oh, well, this isn't my way. Oh, well, this isn't my way. And then it's like now I feel like, okay, I have time that I can schedule out to really focus in and hone in on what I want to do. But I'm really mad at myself because I'm like, man, I was trying to do too many things when I should have just focused on one thing.
Come on.
And then focus on the next thing. And then focus on the next thing. But I'm trying to eat an elephant in one day.
Woo.
Essentially. You know what I'm
And
saying?
you know that ain't the mindset.
But I'm saying essentially it was kind of the same because I was dabbling in all these things at different periods, maybe 1 month, this month. But it was like, man, how can you really see something grow if you're really not cultivating that one thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a process.
Yeah, and that's
you gotta
why-
go through the process.
And that's why I said that I'm like, man, those 3 things those 3, we're not going to say what it is, but that we got to get this week. I'm like, it might cost me $100 just to get that program. You know what I'm saying? But the $100 is going to be able to make the calls and like quick. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can see who picking up, who not, and then get to the next people. You know what I'm saying? Versus trying to, so I'm just really trying to figure out like, you guys need to figure out your processes, your procedures, and the things that you need to do, and how can you guys work together. So before we get off this this podcast, I want to open up, like, in the comments, you guys can ask us questions, but I want to open up and ask the question, like, what are some things that you have learned in this? Because this makes 1 year into the brick and mortar business. What are some things that you have learned that you're going to make this next year so way better?
I think our biggest thing when we started was just really solidifying our systems and processes.
I got you.
And so learning things along the way, like learning about payroll, learning about taxes.
Come on.
Learning about, all these different things that you learn as a business owner. I think during your first year, you really it's like trial and error, right? You learn by messing up.
Big time.
And then you get it right. And so I think we're going into this year, like systems and processes are in place. Everything's where it needs to be. And this year is just all about execution.
And money on the front end and back end. I think people miss that part.
Lord.
No, I think people miss that part. People always say, I want to do stuff for free. I'm like, you don't have to do stuff for free.
Yeah.
If you know, hey, I can show up for X amount, and then when I get there, I make money on the front end and make money on the back end.
Yeah.
And so those are some things that we have learned with this. We're not going to talk about the process, but some things we learned with this thing when we help people with websites and stuff. They end up loving the websites. So we're like, man, how you make money on the front end and money on the back end? You know what I'm saying? And that's what helps you keep rolling.
And that's our, we have our system in place now. And so the goal is just to elevate and, of course, increase revenue. That's always the goal. And just keeping God first in everything that you do and not losing sight of the vision. Because it's easy to lose sight of the vision because what I've learned this year, too, is that we've met so many people this year that it's like everybody has an opinion on what they think you should be doing or what they shouldn't do. And also, too, everybody has intentions. And it's not all the time that those intentions are pure.
That's good.
Everybody
That's good.
doesn't have your heart. Everybody doesn't move the way you move. And so you have to just be very cognitive and aware of your surroundings and who you're inviting into your space.
So, last thing. What do you tell the next business owners that's trying to open up like a creative studio space? What do you tell them?
I would say take your time and do it your way.
I like that.
Like, don't try to do it like anybody else. Do it your way.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you what it should and what it shouldn't look like. because it looks different for everybody.
Man.
We've been to a number of studios and they all look different. Nobody is running their stuff the same. Everybody has their own little system and way that they're doing things. And I love it. And some people are doing great at it. So the goal is just to stick to whatever plan that you have.
Yes.
And make the adjustments that you feel are necessary, not because somebody else feels like that.
Listen, man, working together, it can be a strain, but believe, go hard, and know that if you put God first, everything else will trickle down.
And always keep your marriage at the forefront.
Hello!
Because me and Lloyd Christian talk all the time, and we like, man, before we let our marriage and our home
shut all this down.
Go into the ground.
I'll shut all this down.
Shut all this shit down. Like, to be honest. And that's the mindset that you have to have when you're in business with your spouse. You have to know that your home and your marriage comes before anything.
Bye.
And so if it got to get shut down and dissolve.
You see me traveling.
You got to get shut down and dissolve, and we'll see y'all when we see y'all. And it's nothing. Because don't let people make you feel bad for taking the L, or, you know what I'm saying? Or just being like, man, I'm pivoting, I'm shifting, I'm changing, right?
Because we already got our mind made up. Next year, we got one more year of leasing. After that, we own it. We don't own, we shut all this down. We shut all this down.
We do what we need to do.
Yep, we shut all this down and focus on getting to the bag the way we need to get to the bag.
And that's it.
So, listen, man. Yeah.
But keep your marriage first. No, keep God first. Keep your marriage first, and then the business. If you're working together, if you're thinking about it, that's the order it needs to go in. Thank you guys so much for watching, supporting. Make sure you click that like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
You're kicking it with the Christians. You're kicking it with the Christians. One marriage, two hustlers, it shows. We'll travel the globe in search of endless possibility. You're kicking it with the Christians. Together we'll conquer it all. Take the highs with the lows, 'cause there's no losing with this energy. You're kicking it with the Christians.
Don't forget to follow us on all platforms.